Welcome to another live stream of The Ghost of Highbury. I'm your host, Anton. It is a pleasure. Happy Monday to all of you out there. Hope you had a good weekend. I know I did because the Arsenal won a game, and I'm ecstatic about it. I'm so happy. I hope you're happy. Wasn't the greatest game, but hey, at this point, I want 3 points. I want us out of a relegation battle. Fix this a little bit and turn this towards me. Yeah. Now we looking good. I don't want a relegation battle. I want us moving up the table every week until we get to where we need to be. And that is in the top 4. So where we need to be. I want to win the league. But that is a process in and of itself. But step 1 of said process has to be returning to Europe so we can recruit some of the best and brightest. Like I said, I hope your Monday went well. Hope you worked hard. You earned your paycheck. I know I did. It's still going. Lots of podcasts, lots of photography, lots of videography. But now I'm here with you, and we about to tap into the podcast. So do me a favor. After you've gotten your wine, your water, your coffee, your beer, tonight I'm on the water, so cheers. We on the H2O tonight. Leave me a note in the comments. Let me know what you own. It doesn't matter to me where you are in the world, but let me know what you're drinking, and let me know what you thought of the live stream. That was our last live stream. We streamed during the game, and in my eyes, it was a major success because Arsenal won, and you guys tapped in. I was so ecstatic to really chop it up with a few people on the stream. We had a good time. We answered questions. I learned a little bit about you. You learned a little bit about me, and we had a good time. And Arsenal scored a goal. It was just a goal. It would have been nice if we would have taken some of the chances that we put ourselves in position to. But hopefully that's just a sign of things to come, and we can start to bury those chances because we did put ourselves into some amazing positions. A lot of one-on-ones with the keeper. Off the top of my head, I can think about 3. Where Smith Rowe had 2, Aubameyang had about 3 or 4. I mean, chances came. Pepe had one, actually the one that he ended up assisting, or I guess I don't know if that's considered an assist, but with the deflection of the keeper that fell to Aubameyang for the tap in. But we gave ourselves plenty of chances to win. Now, in training today, starting today. They probably no. We played when? We played Saturday. Yes, we played Saturday. So today in practice should have been looking at tape, and it should have been okay. Bury those chances. Should be the theme of practice this week. We got Burnley coming up, and that one is Sunday. So again, we'll do a live stream during the game for that. And then we will, we'll be streaming all the way up into then. So, like I said, do me a favor. I'm growing the channel. I would love to see you join the Ghosts. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Twitch. Got somebody from Twitch watching it right now. So big shout to you. Thank you for tapping in with the Ghost. Do me a favor. Give me a subscribe. I would love to engage with you. I hope you're an Arsenal fan, but if you're not, Let's talk football. Let's talk. Let's discuss it. If you're not an Arsenal fan, let me know what your team is doing. I'll let you know what my team is doing. But thank you either way for tapping in with the Ghost. Like the videos so that more people can join the community. That's how it works. You have to subscribe and like and leave comments if you choose to. That way, more people say, hey, there's a new guy on the block. He seems pretty cool. He's talking Arsenal. We should tap in. If you want something different, I'm here based in the US. If you're over in the UK or wherever you are and you're not in the US and you're watching this, I'm in the US. I'm a little bit different. I stream at night, but I can also stream during the day. I'm flexible like that. A bit like the Diggable Planets. I'm flexible like that. I love Arsenal like that. I'm Raised the King like that. Or can pass like that. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so wherever you are, join the Ghost. Okay? Now that all the formalities are out of the way, let's discuss the dub. Okay? Let's discuss the win. Arsenal won, Norwich City zippy. Okay? They never looked like they were scoring. Never looked like they were scoring, even though at the end there they get a little shaky. Gabriel, Cedric with a couple big time saves. I'm not gonna not give them their credit. I mean, the first sliding in challenge by Gabriel. I mean, great cover. Great to see him back. Did start off a little bit rusty, but quickly by the second half, dust his shoulders off, get that rust off of him, and was good to go. There was a lot of rust out there, and I don't know how you felt about it, but there was a lot of rust. I wasn't really expecting that with all the internationals going on. I did expect it from Gabriel, but Saka was a little rusty. Okay. Odegaard kind of disappeared. And that's the thing about playing a 10. And I think that like that's sort of the issue with having a 10 per se. Sometimes just because, and it depends a lot of times on the people that you have playing behind them. If you don't have the right midfielders playing behind them and the right center backs playing behind them, you can all of a sudden find yourself down to 10 men. And not because of like a red card or because they're going to do something harsh, but because of the positions that they occupy. You would be a fool not to mark that person. And a lot of times they're just covered. Now, but to be fair to Odegaard, we'll get into this during the player ratings. He ran his butt off. He was all over the place. He was what I like to call a press monster. He was all over the place. He was like a shutdown corner if you're into American football. He was like Jalen Ramsey out there. He was all over the place. And to be fair, as a team, I remember a lot of Saka interceptions, a lot of Partey interceptions, a lot of Smith Rowe interceptions. We just took the ball back before it made it to midfield so much that we gave ourselves sort of like, 3-on-2s and 4-on-3s and things like that. We got so many chances like that off, and a lot of possession off of turnovers that that game really should have, if it ended 4-0, I wouldn't have been surprised. But instead, we're stuck with 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal. And we move. So let's see. What do we want to do first? Do we want to do the player ratings, or do we want to look at Arteta's comments? Let me see. I'll just give my overall impressions with the games, and then we will get into the player ratings. Once, I like to shoot for like an hour. Once you guys jump into the chat and we really have a healthy debate going, we could stretch this out a little bit. We could stretch it out. We might go to 2 hours. It depends. If you guys are here, I'm here. But if you're not here, I'll be here for an hour and then I'm cutting out because it is late. It is late here on the East Coast of the United States. So, just like you got to work, I got to work too. I'm new. So not a full-time Twitch streamer, not a full-time YouTube streamer. Don't have any of those awesome contracts or any of that sort of thing. Right? We're just talking Arsenal here. We ain't talking money. We're not talking super chats. None of that stuff right now. Right now, we build it. Right? We trying to grow. We trying to build something from dust, okay, into something that's greatness, and that's the ghost. Okay, I'm a ghost already. There's a few ghosts who joined this weekend during the live stream. Big shout to them. Right? You want to join them? You want to come hang out with the ghosts? Tap in, hit that button. Right? It's right there. It's right below. Okay, hook your boy up. So my overall impressions of the game is it was probably what a story about what could have been. Okay, what could have been? It could have been, and by all rights, should have been a dusting off. Right? You see the score. You if you're not an Arsenal fan, you just kind of checking out the Premier League scores. You see 1-0 to Norwich. Okay, you might see a moment of class, right? But you're like, man, Arsenal only beat Norwich 1-0. Right? That's like two like relegation clubs going at it, and somebody's trying to get a dub and get out of there, right? That's not us. All right, that's not the Arsenal. Norwich, Jack Wilshere, Olivier Giroud, Tiki Taka, right? Goal of the best goal in like 10 years in the Premier League. That's not us. We like, the Rock say we lay off the smack down on Norwich, right? And we escaped out of there with a 1-0. Because towards the end, they tried to put one in. Pookie was going for it at the end there. And thank you to Gabrielle, thank you to Cedric. They kind of saved us. So I would say, yeah, it was a case of what could have been. That should have been an easy game because of the way it played out. Norwich had no shot until like the 90th minute. Nothing that made you say, "Oh my gosh!" Like, wow, nothing like that throughout the game. They barely even had the ball in their half. We kept the ball the entire game. I'll see if I can figure out I'll go to the Premier League website, see if I can find the official stats and things like that. But yeah, they got no possession, not a lot at all. I mean, it was just. Let's see what we got here. Let me see if I can pull something up. A little something. All right, no, that was last week. We want this week. Okay. Where are we? Hey now. Hey. We in big old 16th. Big 1-6, okay? All right. We out of the relegation, but we don't mess around in the basement too long. We go down there, get what we need. We need to grab a case of water or something, come back up. That's it. We don't hang out in the basement too long. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let me throw these up for you guys. Boom. There we go. 30 shots on target. 30. I saw a stat. I can't remember how long. It's been a while since we put 30 rounds down range. 30. And a lot of them were on target. 7 on target. And I would say out of that 7, 4 of them should have been surefire goals. It was a lot of kicking right at Tim Krul. A lot of it. We didn't make him work. I mean, the hardest goal that the very hardest one we put was the one that actually scored. The hardest one he worked from, he was diving and kicking and flopping all over where like a fish out of water, right? And luckily, Aubameyang was where he was supposed to be, and put the ball in back of the net, right? But that was the hardest one by far. The rest of them were one-on-ones where you put it to either side of the keeper, and those are dubs. But for some reason, we were like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if he was hypnotizing our players or I don't know what was going on, but we were kicking it right at the keeper. I'm like, fam, what is happening here? Right? So 30 shots to their 10, 1 shot on target. 1. Right? So I'm not over exaggerating. They had no shot. No shot. 52% possession to their 48. I don't remember them having almost half of the ball. I mean, they had it and we took it right back. I mean, wow, that's surprising. Passes being the same. Again, surprising. Because it just seemed like, right? That's why sometimes numbers can be deceiving. It just seemed if you watch the entire game, which, we can, Peacock, NBC, step your game up. Like if you don't know, and I don't know if you guys have problems if you're checking this out somewhere outside of the US, but we had to watch the game on the NBC app called Peacock. And for the first 15 minutes of all of the kickoffs that went on at that time, no one had service. So every game, I think the only game that had service was like the Brentford Brighton match. The rest of them were out. And no matter what you did, you could not, it would not work. I tried resetting. I tried going to my phone. I tried going on my computer. I tried going on everything. I tried the Fire Stick. I tried the Apple Play. Wasn't happening. Right. And so it didn't work. So after everybody in the US basically melted down on Twitter at NBC and Peacock, after 15 minutes into the game, it miraculously started working. I don't know if did you try turning it off and turning it back on? I don't know if they tried that or whatever, but all of a sudden it started to work and then we were good to go from there. So I just kind of went on Twitter. I saw a way to keep up with what was going on in the game. And yeah, so I kind of kept everybody abreast of what was happening during the game. And I don't know if that's what, because I got like at one point there was about 35 people hanging out, right, who had tapped in. I don't know if that was because the game wasn't working and people went on YouTube and was like, oh, I need some way to keep up with the games. And so they found you, boy, or what. But for whatever reason, I'm happy because I got to meet a lot of people and it was really, really, really cool. So people hung out with me to the end and I appreciated it. Yeah, so pass accuracy was good. Low 80s. Okay. Fouls, we kept them down. Only one yellow card, which I loved, right? Because if certain people were in the midfield or we had certain people in the back at the back still, that's way more yellow cards, right? And potentially a red card. Not a lot of offsides, which is surprising. And we had 8 corners. We had a lot of corners because we had the ball a lot, it seemed like. And we should do a little bit better with those corners. We have to. We have to take advantage of all the opportunities we're given. So yeah, like I said, that brings us up to a grand total of 16th place. Right, with our next opponents here, Burnley, being in the relegation battle. So we have a kind of a chance to kind of bury them down there. I can't see Newcastle hanging out there for too long. Even though everybody looks better, Brentford will probably kind of fall into their place somewhere around where we are right now. But besides that, maybe Wolves probably will bury some of the chances that they have. They are playing really good football, but they're not burying any of their chances. And then Southampton are kind of hanging out, even though they lost their top scorer of the last few years. And so they've been hanging out here. So, as the season progresses, we'll see where things shaking out. You could probably say Brighton's a little too high, right? You can say Brentford's a little too high. You can say Palace is a little too high, or might, right? Hopefully the people who watch this aren't Tottenham fans. If you are, hey, come hang out. I appreciate it. But y'all let Big Patrick put an L on you. I gotta hold that one. Y'all let Big Patrick put an L on you guys. Right. And so we're not gonna get into that because this ain't a Tottenham place. Right. But he hung an L on y'all. And then the memes, man, the memes about him saying he don't know. He don't know. He ain't never lost to Tottenham at home. He takes no L's. I mean, he brought that in on, he dug in his pockets, got his keys, had that L attached to it and told you to hold that. So that's And he put 3 on y'all, right? That's the only thing I'll say about that game, really, is that they scored 3 goals. Crystal Palace scored 3 goals, and we only scored 1. We have 1 goal in 3 games. 4 games, 1 goal. How many goals will Crystal Palace have? Crystal Palace has 5 goals. West Ham have 10. Man City have 11. Everton have 10. Right? Who has the most? 11. Man City, of course. Man City United are tied for the most goals. West Ham's right behind them. Man, I ain't trying to see no parts of West Ham, man. And that's wild to say. I don't want to see no parts of West Ham. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, so yeah, that's the stats. Let me see if it'll let me do. Oh. No. Definitely don't see none of that. What did I want to do? I wanted to do, yes, the lineups. So let's do lineups. All right. And so I'm going to refer because I want to make sure that I don't, I want to make sure I represent myself well. Right. And again, if you want to link up with me, very simple email is ghosttohighbury@gmail.com. If you want to jump on stream, you want to collab. If you're an Arsenal fan, you want to collab, or you represent a team that we are coming up with that we're going to play in the future, and you want to do like a game review, a preview, let me know. I'm at ghostofhighbury@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter, right up here, right here. That's my Twitter handle. I'm there all day. Come holla at your boy. All right, so let's look at player ratings. All right, this is how we lined up. I know they were talking on TV about like it being a 3, and I'm like, I mean, Tommy also did bomb forward a lot, but so did Kieran Tierney at the same time. So I'm like, where do you see 3? I don't, I don't see 3. But we're here. I saw 4-2-3-1. This is how they have it lined up here. And yeah, if you saw something different, let me know. But that's what I saw. Okay. Here was the starting lineup. Only thing that was kind of weird was we didn't see Partey at first. That was we didn't have Partey at first. But we got Lukonga in there. So hopefully, like I said, during, when the lineups first came out, none of us ever get the lineups right when we try to predict what this manager is going to do. None of us. I mean, it seems so, things have come out now, and we'll talk about that in the press conference, but they could have made it seem like Lukonga and Partey aren't completely fit. Okay. Right. But they ended up playing. Fair enough. Okay. So this is how we started. So we're going to start from the back. So I gave, let's start with Ramsdale, and I gave him a 7. I think he represented himself well. He didn't have too much to do, but again, we've talked about this on stream. There's a series of things that you must do in order to be a competent keeper in my book. Okay. You have to be a prime time shot stopper. You got to be, you have to, when those one-on-ones, when rockets come in, I need you to handle that. Okay. I need you to be in command of your box. So when corners come in, scrums are going on, things are chaotic. I need you to, to be speaking with your central defenders or whoever's in the box with you, whose job is to defend on the set piece or corner or whatever. I need you to be in control. I don't need you to be taking a back seat, hiding in the net. Okay. And 3, you got to be good with your feet. Now, this is something that's fairly new, and that's something that everybody's going to be comfortable with. But you have to be able to adapt. This is the top tier of football. This ain't Sunday League, right? This ain't the Farmers Leagues as they talk about, and the other stuff, right? This ain't you and your homeboys playing Saturday morning before you go out for beers, right? This is the pinnacle of football. This right here. And so if the game starts moving towards a direction, you got to get in where you fit in. And if the getting in says that you need to be good with your feet and ping balls where you need to, right? I'm not saying you need to be doing Ronaldo chops and step overs and la croquetas and all this type of stuff, right? But you need to be able to make decisions quickly with your feet because the press happens a lot in the Premier League. And so, in saying that, he did all of those things. Now, the volume to which he had to do those things wasn't there. Thank God, right? I love to say, hey, my keeper didn't have a lot to do today. Hey, I'll take some of that in my cup and drink to that every day. So, because that means, the people who get paid millions of dollars that are in front of him did their job. So I'll take that. Okay. I gave him a 7. Again, he didn't do anything too crazy, but didn't need to. But when he needed to in a couple times, he was there. But things came flying in. He saw them out or he caught it. No weird punching, no weird charging and drop kicking people. None of that stuff. Right. And then and just seemed composed. Sometimes it just that's like if you're just in the right mindset, right? The moment's not too big for you. You know what to do. You trained for it. You've studied tape. You've understood the coach's instructions. You just get it, right? Sometimes that just calms you down, right? And it just seems like he gets it, right? He's not a nervous Nelly. To be fair, he's probably got 2 of the better defenders that we've had in the past 8 years, but he has no control over that. Right? He can only control what he does when he's in between the sticks. And he did it. So I'll give him a 7. I won't go crazy because he didn't have like the save or something like that and give him an 8 or a 9 or something like that just because it was his, just because it was his debut sort of in the Premier League. But he did a good job. And for that, I'll give him a 7. Let's move to the right. You got Tomiyasu. And I gotta say that I was impressed. I was impressed, number one, physically. Right? I was impressed physically. I was impressed that he came to work to do a job. What am I doing here? Hold on. Rip the mic out of the wall. Hold on here. He came to do a job. You can tell that's a man that might not be the most gifted. Like he's not going to be doing anything crazy. However, he almost flying like Ryu Hurricane kicked the ball in. And it almost went in. I would have probably dropped all of this equipment all over the floor, jumping up and screaming. But he came to put in. He came for work. That's the thing about Ramsdale. I can say they ain't come to sit on the bench. They ain't come to take part. They came to take over. All right. And so so it was his size. He's a big guy, not like some Peter Crouch size dude, but he's not there to be pushed over. Headers came in, body came in, physicality came in. You could tell, and I don't know if it was part of the game plan or if it's just what Norwich normally does, but it seemed to me that they kind of went at him a little bit. They didn't do a lot of kickoffs because the person who normally is kind of like, and I don't know, I don't watch them a lot, but it seemed like during a game, their primary method of attack when they were able to was to get Max Aarons kind of the ball and for him to put something in dangerous for Pookie or something like that. Right? But they didn't kick the ball. I mean, he is a small guy, but they didn't kick the ball to him a lot. They tried the other side. They tried the sort of Zolis side, if you will. Zolis, McLean, and Brandon Williams was on that side. And they tested that side a lot. and he dealt with it all. He was not there to play games, right? He wasn't here for it. And he represented himself really, really well. Get subbed off. I'm sure it was his first game. Let him absorb what. Oh, I didn't know that was going to take me into like a Google search. Jeez, that was off. Oh, wait a minute. I'm all over the place, people. Yeah. So yeah, did that. He did well. What did I give him? I gave him 7 as well. Again, did his thing. I mean, he almost earned an 8. If he would have stayed the whole game, he would probably continue to do, because there was a bit of a decrease once Maitland-Niles moved over there, and I don't know if that's because Maitland-Niles is like a worse defender or not. I just think he was a little bit tired. He seemed a little tired once that sub happened and he went over to the right back spot. But he did do well. So we'll get to him in a minute. But I gave him a 7. Let me switch screens here so that I can see. Make sure. Then let's go to left back, Kieran Tierney. And Tierney, I gave a 6.5. I think that he's been playing at like a 6.5 level all season. And I don't know why. Is he gassed? Is he? I don't. If people figured him out, or are we that kind of predictable? Do we have that? Do we have that kind of predictable game plan where they know all our offense is going to primarily come through him, and so they're kind of game planning for that and making him not look as good as he absolutely is. As he overplayed his hand? Is he starting to regress to the mean a little bit? I don't know, but we need to figure out a way. And hopefully with Tomiyasu and him being dangerous, maybe if he puts in a few crosses for goals or something like that, they'll start to equalize things, and people will start to say, okay, we can't just play for tyranny and prey, or tyranny and incense, or whatever you want to call it. And we're a little bit more balanced. Maybe if Odegaard threads the needle a little bit better, Thomas Partey drops some more balls in like he did for the attempt that ended up being the goal. If we get a little bit more balanced, maybe I think that Tyranny will his scores will start to equal out. He'll probably start to, because he is a consistent 7.5, almost 8 level player. And, I just, for the past few, since the start of the season, he's been hanging out in 6, 5.5, 6 land. He's been very, very average. So, yeah, but that's what I gave. I gave Kieran Tierney a 6.5. I think that Tomiyasu was the better of the fullbacks in the game. And I think Tomiyasu got forward well, had that shot on goal. I think Kieran Tierney got well, put in some good crosses. And I don't know. It just seems like they haven't been hitting each other. Like, I think that like when Tyranny goes low, somebody's expecting something high. When Tyranny goes high, somebody wants it at their feet. There's just been some kind of like miscommunication between the players, and I hope they kind of figure it out. Let's talk about the center backs. I think that this is the 2 or the 4, if you will, that everybody's wanted to see. Everybody has wanted to see Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, Kieran Tierney. Okay. We can be up for argument ahead of this, right? I would say, right? Would you agree with me? Right? Everything that happens ahead of that, we are like, okay, right? For the most part, we can have a debate. But this starting 4 with this keeper, I think that everybody consistently across all Goonerland, this is the lineup. These are the back 4 that we want going forward. Okay, thick or thin. Now, if we go to a 3 or something like that, then maybe we can have that discussion, and maybe I still don't think you change. I think that maybe if you go to a 3, then somebody's going to drop out of the midfield, because I think Maitland-Niles goes to right wing back, because Tomiyasu drops back into the 3. But I would say somehow, some way, these 4 players, Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel Tierney, have to be on the field, right? We don't really have many injury issues with the right side of that, but the left side of it we do. So we kind of have to monitor that left side, and hopefully Pablo Mari is staying in shape. I would love to have seen Saliba be here and he be the deputy for Ben White and Gabriel. But I know that Tamiyasu can also play left-sided center back in case Gabriel goes down, and then maybe Maitland-Niles and or Cedric can step into that right back spot and we keep it moving. I don't want to see that. I mean, Maitland-Niles, okay, but but Cedric, no. That's the gray man, and I talked about that during stream. Gray man is sort of a military term for a person who's not awful and at the bottom of like a group of guys or a group of girls who are trying to make it through any sort of military process or something like that, and they're not like superior. They're not trying to stand out, even though they could. It's just not their character. They don't stand out. They're right in the middle, right? You just can't, you don't even, like, if you're in charge of them, you barely even remember the person's name. They're just there quietly doing their job. They might not do nothing terrible, but they're not going to do anything great. That's Cedric for me. But let's talk about these center backs. So first, Ben White. What did I give Ben White? I gave Ben White. I gave them both 6.5s. I think Ben White was good, and I think they complemented each other. Right, wherever one kind of faltered, the other one was there. Right, if Gabriel was too aggressive, Ben White was there to clean up. If Ben White was not aggressive enough, Gabriel was there. Right, and I think that's a good combination, and I think that's what you're going to see. I think that going forward, as they develop, they're going to have to develop some traits of each other. Right, Ben White's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. Right, he has the finesse part of his game down, and we saw that, right, with three what is it, 3 something or other. Like, I don't know the way they worded it, but like he put 3 great balls in that led to attempts on goals, which is unheard of for center back, right? So he has that finesse and vision and passing part of his game down. I see him as needing to be a little bit more, have a little bit more strength in this game, a little bit more forcefulness. And I think that's where Gabriel comes in. So every time they needed to be somebody, okay, get this ball out, muscle the dude off the ball. That's what Gabriel was there. Every time there was a ball to be played in, and Gabriel can do this too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so I think Ben White needs to be a little bit stronger. Right. And I think that Gabriel needs to have a little bit more finesse. Now, we saw this at Lille when he played with Pepe. He dropped balls with that left foot down to Pepe all the time. Right. And I want to see more of that. Right. You saw Thomas Partey. You saw Ben White. You saw Tamiyasu putting balls into to Pepe. Right. I haven't seen. I want to see Gabriel doing it. I want to see him comfortable enough. Because Ben White usually passes balls to the other side, to the left side, to like this space, kind of like where Tierney or Saka or whoever's going to play on that left. It better not be Aubameyang is going to be, right? And if Lacazette, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but if Lacazette's not going to sign the contract extension, I assume they offered him one because they didn't want anybody running down their contracts, even if he does end up leaving. And it seems like we're in this thing where like we're not. Anywho, I'm not gonna jump on that. We'll jump on that for another day. But that zone, that area, that left wing field, that left like that Saka sort of Aubameyang kind of spot over there on the left wing side. So Ben White likes to put in passes over there. I want to see Gabriel putting in more passes to that Pepe area. And so again, just mixing things up, not just giving the ball to Tierney and letting him bond forward. Okay, I gave both of them a 6.5, but I think I'm going to amend Gabriel's and give him a 7, because of the save at the end. I mean, that save that kept us from having a totally different discussion today, because that would have been a draw, I just think things would have been a lot different in the atmosphere, and the ether just would have been murky with sort of negativity and like hyper negativity, hyper positivity. I really hate that sort of ether. I don't like either one. I don't like people who are overly positive and people can do no wrong because they're wearing the shirt, right? And then I don't like overly negative people no matter what they do because you don't like them. You got it in your head that they're terrible. I don't like either one, right? And so I think that his save and or Aubameyang's goal kept us in a good space as fans, and I'm really appreciative of that. And so yeah, I gave them, like I said, I gave them both 6.5, but I'm gonna give Gabriella a 7 because he saved sort of our season so far. And I appreciate that. Moving ahead to the 2 of the 4-2-3-1, we have Lakonga and Maitland-Niles. And so who do I want to start with first? Let's start with Sambi. I gave Sambi a 7. Again, it's so weird, but this is what happens when you consistently put in 7s, right? To be fair, so far in this short season of 5 games that we played, he has been the MVP. If they were giving out MVPs for 5% of the season, he would have a trophy, right? He would have an award because he has been, and not because he's done anything exemplary. It's just he's doing what he's being paid to do. Play above your level, right? Understand where you are and play up to that level. You came from Anderlecht, even though you were the captain. Now you're up to the big boys. Play like it, right? Do the things that you've been doing, but now you're at a higher level. Let's see if you can do it because we're paying you more. You have a bigger profile, all that good stuff. Now let's see it. And every single time he's been on the field, he has represented himself with class. He's been absolutely class. Now, is he dropping in bombs and crunching tackles and, Patrick Vieira reincarnated? No. But at this point, that's not what we need. We need consistency because of all the things that have gone on in this sort of era over the past 10 years. That's the one thing that we've had. We've bought plenty of players. I've shown you, if you watch one of the previous streams where we went through all the transfers, I've shown you that we've spent money. We've absolutely spent money. It's the consistency of these players that has just taken us down the toilet. And so I gave him a 7 just because, again, he's done great things. Few good balls into Aubameyang, few good passes. He just never wants to go backwards. Anybody tries to press him, he just gets out of it. And so it's so weird. I don't understand why he didn't play against Man City. It wouldn't have hurt. I don't think it would have influenced the game too much to like swing it from like us getting destroyed to us winning the game, right? But maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's only 2-0 or something. Maybe it's something respectable. Maybe we sneak in a goal. Maybe it's 2-1. But because we're not getting passed through like something like translucent or something like that, like we're like everybody on the team was invisible, then, hopefully if that doesn't happen, maybe we're a little bit harder to beat. And you saw him and Maitland-Niles making tons of interceptions, keeping the ball, recycling play, crossing the field, going from the left, going to the right, going down the middle, going over top. Him and Maitland-Niles did their jobs respectively. He's just doing what he's paid to do. Play at a high level when you come in and show us that and reward us for getting you out of Anderlecht and playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's done it. 7. Next, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I gave him 2. I gave him 2 ratings. So for central midfield, I gave him a 7.5. And for right back, I gave him a 6. And I reduced it because at right back, he seemed to kind of wear down a little bit by the time they took Tomiyasu out and swapped him out. And so he slowed down a little bit. They started to come on to us. You can just tell he was a little bit tired. But at central midfield, he was, if it wasn't for Pepe, he was probably the man of the match to me. And I've seen people go back and forth. I've seen people on both sides of this. I've seen people say, "Oh, well, this is why This is why he should just shut up and play midfield, because he didn't do anything and he was behind and this and that, and he lost the ball and this and that. And then I seen people like saying that like he was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? And I think it's somewhere in the middle. He did lose the ball a couple times, but his eyes were forward. It was like he looked at Lakonga and said, "You know what? This is the formula. This is what I'm going to do." And he did it. I think he did his job excellently. I think he was just a little bit better than Lakonga because he made a few more interceptions. He made a few more good passes forward into dangerous positions. And he just did everything that was asked of him and did it at a high level. Nothing slow, always driving forward. Drove forward more than Sammy Lakonga did, right? Always driving into space, right? He was the only person really driving forward from that midfield spot because Odegaard really didn't do it that much, right? He really didn't get the ball in kind of dangerous positions to be able to do that, especially towards the second half. He went kind of quiet. But until Smith Rowe came in, Maitland-Niles was the one that was doing that. So I gave him a 7.5. Abame, no. The 3. So let's start with Saka. I gave a 7. The first half, he was not on it. Not on it at all. I don't know why. And maybe he didn't play the last international game, maybe a little jet lag. I don't know. But he has that in his locker. If there's one thing about Saka, and I'm not gonna go crazy with this because the good far outweighs the bad, is that sometimes he can switch off. And he seems to kind of not just be with it. I didn't say he switched completely off, but it seemed like during the first half he just just seemed just a little bit off. Second half, I don't know who he got talking to or what. I don't know if the coaches saw what I saw, but he was re-energized, making himself available, putting in good plays, driving the ball, doing the things that he does. And I wish Pepe would do more. Driving the ball into the dangerous spots, forcing defenders to make a decision. And yeah, he was, because of him, they kind of got the goal. So I gave him a 7. I think that like he picked it up a lot in the second half, and because of him, we got the goal that we needed to move forward. Pepe, I gave a 7, but I'm gonna amend that and give him a 7.5. I almost want to give him an 8. Actually, I am gonna give him an 8. I thought that Pepe was special. I think that he deserved the goal that went in that Aubameyang eventually ended up finishing off. I think that he was a nightmare for Brandon Williams, right? And I saw somebody made like a compilation of Brandon Williams, like he had these guys in his pocket or something like that. I'm like, what game are you guys watching? Pepe was all over them, right? Pepe was the only one who looked like he was going to bang a goal, like not a tap in or anything like that. Like do something active to like force a goal, to make something happen, and he did. And so I'm gonna amend his. We just need to see more of that Pepe. Just go for it, bro. Like take the brakes off and just go for it. Like don't make it too complicated. And that's the thing with Pepe, and it's gonna be his thing. He just makes driving at the goal just way too difficult. I know he's got the footwork for it, but in this league, you blink an eye and there's 3 guys on you, and it was just one. So I'm going to amend that and give him an 8. And then Martin Odegaard. What did I give Odegaard? I gave him a 7. I see a lot of people down on Martin Odegaard. They were saying like, I saw people saying like, oh, this is the worst game I've seen. Oh my God. Like, where was he? He was hiding. It seemed like Ozil. And I can understand some of those arguments, right? But at the same time, it wasn't from lack of trying. Now, what did we say about Ozil? Oh, well, he doesn't track back. Blah, 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 blah. He's a passenger. This and that. If he's not dropping an assist, then we can't really depend on him. We're playing with 10 men. If we play with Ozil, this, that, right? No, not this kid, right? He might not have Ozil's like technical ability yet. He might not have the ceiling that Mesut Ozil had, but he was trying. That's what I want. I want people out there trying to do the thing. He has the quality. It'll come. He'll get more comfortable. We got to stick behind him, and it will come. He put a beautiful ball onto Aubameyang's toe, but then something happened, and we wasted another one of those chances. But I give him a 7. I'm gonna stick with that. I want to see more though. I want to see more. I want the people that are playing in the 2 of the 4-2-3-1. They got to get him the ball more. Right? I know he kind of has that free roll, so depending upon where he is at the time that they get the ball, depends on whether they can, because the better pass might just be to go over him and go to one of the forwards. But he's got to make himself more available to get these balls so that he can make, because he kind of has the eye for these balls down the middle, so that we're not dependent on Tierney and Tamiyasu. Right? We get less predictable. Man, an hour's going fast here. And then finally, Aubameyang. And what did I give Alba? I gave him a 6.5. I mean, he scored the goal that won us the game, so I'm happy about that. But he did try. But he wasted so many chances. He wasted some money balls, man. I mean, man, I want to see him bury. I mean, he got off the top of my head, I'm thinking about 4 times where he got in and should have scored. And really the one that just kind of felt him. I mean, that's a chance and he buried it. But like Maitland-Niles put it on a plate for him. Lukonga put it on the plate. Odegaard put it on the plate. Right? Saka put it on the plate one time. Right? Remember that when towards the end when Saka was driving the ball, slid it in. No, that was Pepe. Slid it into him and nothing. Right? I want to see him put some of these passes away. He probably deserves a 7.5 because he won the game, right? His goal won the game, but because of I have to drop it down a little bit because of the chances he just wasted. I mean, just to be fair, he just wasted them. They were one-on-ones, right? So I gave him a 6.5. Who else came on? So Partey came on and bossed it. Absolute bossed it. So I would imagine it's probably just down to he just wants to ease him back in and probably thought, okay, well, this is Norwich. I can probably get away with it. Probably wasn't expecting us, or maybe he was, to play as good as we did, but we played well, so he could probably left him. I mean, he put him in a little bit later, swapped Sambi for Partey, and you can just tell. You could just tell immediately this is a higher caliber of player. Okay, you got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, you got Sambi Lukonga, which are great young players, right? But now you got a ball in there. Okay, and he came in immediately, and he was the ignition to that goal, right? He didn't have to finish it off, but he was the ignition. He was the one that threaded the pass into Saka. Saka drives, shows some tremendous strength, right? And then gets it to Pepe. Pepe fires in, it's deflected, and drops to Aubameyang. So good job. Cedric comes in again, Mr. Gray Man, nothing too crazy, but did make a tremendous save towards the end that kept the 3 points ours. So credit to him for doing that. I gave him a 6.5. And then did we have one more person? No, I think that's it. So that was it. Oh, ESR. What am I doing? So ESR came in and provided the thing that ESR does. So, and then tell me I don't know how you feel about this. So when ESR is starting, a lot of times, like, he doesn't have any assist, right? He doesn't have any assist. And so, what was that? I just heard something. I don't know. Just heard something. And so he doesn't have any assists. Right. But in this game, coming off the bench, giving that energy, running at tired defenders, it made a whole lot. It made a hell of a difference. We did switch to sort of like a 4-3-3 once he came in, and we made the swaps with Tamiyasu and Maitland-Niles and Partey and things like that. We did look different, and that's something that maybe I'll get somebody who knows about formations and this and that, and what that changed and things like that. I'm not that good, and so. But yeah, I think coming off the bench and running at people the way he does, the people that are tired have been running for for 70, 75 minutes, it was like, wow, like, okay, this is what I need. But depending on him to do that all game for 90 minutes at his level, where he hasn't played a full season in Premier League yet. So let's keep that in mind. I think he did really, really well coming off the bench. And it really just scared him. And I gave him a 7. I think he did well. My man of the match was Pepe. I think that without Pepe, we never looked like scoring. Never looked like scoring. I think that ESR came on late and had like 2 chances to score and didn't bury any of them, but he doesn't score a lot of goals. So I don't really expect anything that he scores. I can consider a bonus, right? But I expect Pepe to make things happen, and he did. And that's why I gave the man of the match to Pepe. I see that Aubameyang got it, and for whatever, I understand he scored the goal, so I have no problems with that. But for me, and probably you, Pepe was probably the man of the match. We're up against it. Like I said, I only like to stay an hour, a little bit more, until the stream grows. So I'm just going to touch on some of the notes from the coach or manager. Sorry about that. And then we'll jump. Let's flip over to arsenal.com. And so, let's see. On the win, relief of win. Emotionally, it was a tough game to play after the 3 defeats playing here in front of your crowd. It was a must-win game, and I saw us straight away come out of the blocks really quickly, really aggressively, running the score and please everybody. We had a period of 20 to 25 minutes where we started to look a bit shaky, trying to attack too quickly and giving the ball away. It was an open game. In the second half, we took control of the game again, and we should have scored more. Oh, hey, thank you. Yes, that was an accurate representation of what the game was. Well, I don't know how the first 15 minutes went because but it would have been nice to see. It would have been nice. But we move. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty accurate on how the past few weeks have been for him. And I want to hear about that. Crowd noise. Crowd was amazing. On fans singing "We Are Staying Up," and if it's funny, I didn't hear that, but you had to because I heard it on TV. I didn't hear that, but if it was done in a funny way, you have to accept it. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? All we can do is laugh at this point because we're at the bottom. On if he's starting to see his vision come together. I started to see my vision many months before. Today you saw a different team. That's what do you okay, so you saw you started to see signs many months before, but today you saw a different team. So either one of the 2 things happened. You get a different team, and today you started to see your vision coming together. You should have said yes because we saw a different team with different names, with different qualities, just different. Yes, that is why your vision is starting to come together. But months ago, we were holding nails. Ramsdale was good. On whether he plans to rotate the goalkeepers. I want to see how they perform. Now we need performances and we need to win football matches. So whoever gives us better performances and whoever transmits more confidence is more reliable will play. That's not good for Burnley, though. Because if it's one thing that he does not do, he does not transmit confidence. He transmits, I don't know what's going to happen. So please get the ball out of here before it gets to me. And so that's a little scary. On whether he had tears in his eyes at the end of the game. No, I didn't. I was so pleased we won the game, and that's it. I think everybody inside themselves. On aspirations, this team, I want to be up there with the best in this country and be the best like when we have been one of the best teams in performances and trophies. That's our only aim. We'll see. I don't know. Your transfers didn't say that. On Sambi's performance, Thomas wasn't fit to play the 90 minutes, and we didn't want to take another risk with him. Thank you. Sambi came in from Belgium with a tight hamstring and only trained half a day. The way we wanted to play, we didn't have options because players were either injured or suspended in midfield, and we were really short because Emil wasn't available to play either. Sambi made a big effort to play here, and that is one of the reasons when I tell you how much these boys want to do it, and nobody's hiding in difficult moments. They just want to get over the line. They want to get it over the line and show the good example. Ooh, that's a shot. Shots fired. Okay. Shots fired at some of these players that you probably wanted to get out of here low key that are still here and doing weird stuff. Right? We don't need nobody hiding in difficult moments. So that's really it. It was really cool to see them chanting the Bumyang's name when he was doing this press conference real quick. That was dope. But yeah, that's it. We move. And so yeah, that's it. That's it for this stream. We'll attack it tomorrow. Any news comes in, we'll talk about that. We'll start to ramp up the talk about our next opponent's Burnley. We're kind of a bogey team for us. They're big, they're strong. They don't necessarily score any goals, but with us and set pieces and big and strong guys don't really, the last time we played them, I think that was them that Xhaka passed it right to the guy and he knocked it in. I think that was us. I could be wrong. But we just don't play well against teams like Burnley. And so we will see. So it's been a pleasure. It's late here. It's a little past 10. I'm gonna get to hay. I gotta hit the hay. You probably should too. Get some work done tomorrow. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for another Ghost of Highbury. Again, if you want to engage with me, right here is where I am on Twitter. If you want to email me, you want to talk about something, I'm at ghostofhighbury@gmail.com. Again, I'm on Twitch. Big shout out to you for following me. And I'm on YouTube. So I'm here. I try to be here every night except Fridays unless we play a game. So I have Fridays off and Sundays unless we play a game. So besides that, I'm here with you trying to grow the Ghost of Highbury. So it's been real. It's been fun. I will see you guys tomorrow.